build a prison out of sound and bury all my secrets in the ground. I wrote about the bruises no one sees and fell down hard upon my shaking knees. The lyrics were a map of my mistakes, a catalog of heavy throbbing aches. I told the paper secrets I couldn't speak and sang about the days when I was weak. A phantom version of myself took hold in every bitter story that I told. I painted every canvas pitch black night and convinced myself I'd never see the light. I screamed into the microphone for years, a waterfall of frozen bitter tears, tracing every scar upon my skin and wondering if I'd ever let life win. The melodies were heavy like concrete, dragging down my tired wandering feet. I made a home inside the worst of me and locked the door and threw away the key. So many verses dedicated to the fall, to standing with my back against the wall, defending all the ways I fell apart and nursing all the fractures in my heart. I was the author of my own despair, breathing in the cold and heavy air. I thought the sadness was the only truth, a tragic anthem carries from my youth. The rhythm was a slow and steady bleed, a desperate cry for something that I need. But every line just ended in a sigh underneath the dark and stormy sky. I held the matches to my own design and watched the fire cross the final line, then wrote a chorus for the ashes left behind, the bitter static ringing in my mind. It felt like running out a road to track with every heavy burden on my back. The oldest songs I wrote were born of grief, an endless maze without a single moment of relief. Every paragraph I typed in desperation became a permanent and heavy reservation inside a hotel built of all my fears, where I stayed awake for years and years. I collected every echo of a doubt and turned the volume up to block the healing out, thinking that the damage was the art and the only way to protect a broken heart. I anchored myself to the lowest floor and kept on knocking on a closed door, writing down the names of all the ghosts and the things that used to hurt me the most. But records spin and eventually they turn, and even from the ashes we can learn that every heavy word I used to choose was just a coping mechanism I had to use. The playlist of my past is wearing thin, and something softer wants to let me in. The old lyrics don't hold the same old power as the clock ticks down to a quiet hour. I'm washing off the ink that stained my hands and stepping onto solid newer lands. The sad songs did their job to keep me here, but now the foggy air is starting to clear. There is a shift inside the shifting chord, a truce between the armor and the sword. I don't have to bleed to make it real, I just have to let myself actually feel. The music doesn't have to hurt to heal or put a heavy weight upon the wheel. It can be a gentle, open space where time slows down its frantic, breathless pace. I look back at the lines I used to write, the desperate battles fought in dead of night, and see a girl who did the best she could to find a way to make things understood. The volume's turning down on all the noise, the old regrets are losing all their voice. The chapters turn, the pages start to mend, and the longest winter comes to an end. I'm setting down the pen that wrote the ache for every single promise I had to break. The melody is settling in deep as the restless world prepares to go to sleep. The final notes are floating through the air, no longer chasing shadows of despair, just catching on the corners of the room as the midnight shadows start to bloom. The heavy ink is dry upon the sheet, and I can hear the rhythm of a lighter beat growing underneath the static sound, making something beautiful out of what was drowned. There is a brand new verse beginning to arrive that doesn't just ask how to survive, but speaks of how the open air can feel when you finally allow yourself to heal. As I sit here alone in the dark with this cry baby girl, barely looking around the apartment at all of my beautiful lights. In this moment I feel so much peace in my heart, and even though this feeling will soon pass, I feel like everything is gonna be okay, like life will all come together, and I will actually find my peace.